Another week of lockdown, another week of what are we gonna make? Well, I bet you've got some ramen, so why don't we fire up the pantry? Okay, so this episode of Fire Up The Pantry, we're gonna take something my daughters love, ramen, but it's not the healthiest, so I'm gonna show you how we can make it nice and healthy. I'm making a Chinese orange chicken, which is so easy and not deep fried like you'd get in the Chinese restaurants, and all you need from the pantry, apart from chicken, which I took the breast off, so you've got nice lean chicken and very low fat. Soy sauce, sesame oil, really a must on that. Ginger, I like fresh, but in a jar is absolutely fine. Some chili powder, 100%. Now, you can either use honey, brown sugar, or maple syrup. I'm using maple syrup. Sesame seeds. If you've got some freeze-dried herbs, they're brilliant because they get some color and they come to life. And then I've got some garlic. Now, if you've got some fresh, the orange is going to help with the sauce. A red pepper is brilliant for color. And then we've got some scallions, and we'll jazz it all up. Now, to start with, what I want to do is discard the horrible powder that comes with the ramen. Sorry, but it is. It's full of rubbish. And I'm going to throw in the ramen into my pan and discard this. I'm actually going to swap it over to another heat because what I want to do is, as that is cooking away, I'm going to take two pans here. Now, you can use one pan. I like to use two because I want to have a little room. When you're cooking anything, if you overcrowd the pan, what happens is you create moisture and then it poaches the food. It doesn't brown the food and you don't get great color. So, to this, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. And then I'm just going to throw in my chicken. And I'm going to get that pan on a nice high heat. Meantime, in my other pan, I'm going to get that on a nice high heat. They both should be pretty good now. And then I'm just going to cut up my pepper. Quickest way to do this, trim off the ends, cut around the inside, discard the middle and the end, slice in half, and all I want to do is make some pretty nice thin strips. Remember, whenever you're cooking food, the thinner you cut it, the quicker it cooks. And also, everything, if it's in the same consistency of size, will cook in the same time. That goes in the pan. Chicken is doing well. Now it's time for the sauce. Now, what I'm going to do for the sauce is take a nice amount of garlic. Garlic's really good for you. It builds the immune system, by the way, especially if it's not cooked too long. I'm going to grate it. This way I get the use of the entire piece of garlic. And that goes in my bowl. I'm going to cut my orange. Probably going to use about half the orange. Now, the orange, what's so good about that is it gives a natural sweetness to it. Just take my pan, give these a little fry over. Ramen is almost cooking. See, I've got everything going at the same time here. I love really fast, high heats. That's the way I learned to cook. I remember one of my first gigs was at the Mandarin Oriental in Hong Kong, and everything was cooked in this massive wok. I'm going to squeeze in some orange juice. Now, you could always use orange juice if you don't have fresh oranges. And the nice thing about that, again, is it builds up the vitamin C. A little extra there. To this, we're going to add some sweet with a nice pour of maple syrup. To that, sesame seeds, some ginger. Now, you might notice, why am I not cooking the chicken with the sauce right now? Sherry! Dropped a little piece. Come on, Sherry, baby. Sherry's the multi-poo. Sherry, she's not in when I cook chicken, she's normally around here. She can have that little bit that drops. So the reason I haven't put the sauce in here is because it caramelizes really quick. And what I want to do is make sure I've done it at the end because I don't want to burn the pan or I don't want to burn the food. And those peppers are about done. All right, that chicken is gonna have the heat turned down. So what we're gonna do is cook this first, then we add the sauce after. And caramelization is where color comes and you've just got a fabulous kind of browning, but you only get that from sugars. That's why I said maple syrup, or a little bit of honey, or brown sugar, same thing. I've got some freeze-dried chives. I love those because they kind of come back to life with the food and it gives a little bit of color, especially to that red of the pepper. Now, chili pepper, you choose. I've got a little heavy-handed because I love it. Sesame oil, oh, I love this. I mean, this just gives me every kind of memory that floods back. Cooking in Hong Kong and the way they have this incredible steamed fish. They bring the whole fish and it is steamed with just scallions, ginger, garlic, and a little bit of sesame oil crackles on top when it's ready, and it's heaven. My videographer, Eleanor, my 18-year-old daughter. Where's your favorite place, El? What's your favorite dish in Hong Kong? Oh, think about it. Crispy duck pancakes. That's it. I think her first trip, she was only a couple years old, and it's one of her favorites. All right, now I'm going to whisk this together. This is our sauce of honey and, well, maple and, oh, just gorgeousness. And the other thing is, this is really light. This is a very good for you dish because Chinese food can be a little bit on the fattening side because a lot of it's deep fried, so I like to find alternatives. Now, I'm going to drain, I'll be back in 1 minute, or Eleanor, you can follow me over. I'm just going to drain my ramen. Now, we didn't use the packet, we've just got plain ramen here because we're making our own sauce. And I'm going to make sure that's drained because I want all the gorgeous, wonderful sauce and the chicken over this and not have it with anything on it other than this. Now, I'll pop this into my bowl. We're getting there. We're almost in the Orient. I'm gonna whack the heat up on this one, and then this is where the color and the magic happens. All bubbles away. Now to this is where we get this reduction and the caramelization and the color that gives it all that flavor. So I wanna really coat this. I wanna get it nice and beautiful, and this is what we do on lockdown. We go to different countries every night at home. So we have a theme. We go to Thailand, we go to Hong Kong, and we pretend we're traveling because we miss it, and I don't know when we're going to go again. But if you can't go to Hong Kong, bring Hong Kong to you. See that? Look how thick that sauce has become. Now, a lot of times in most traditional recipes, there'll be cornstarch in this, which thickens naturally. But we don't need to have the cornstarch because I want it light as possible, and you don't really need it because this sauce is thick enough on its own. Add to that our beautiful peppers. Miss Georgina, can I have a taster, please? How lucky am I? 2 wonderful daughters and my wife stuck in that we can cook, we can eat, we can be together, we can celebrate our own family time, and then, oh my goodness, take a look at that with the sauce. Now you could do this with rice, you could do this with beef, you could do this with chicken, you could do this with gorgeous. Come over here, my darling. There's a bit of chicken on there and Sherry never even found it. Can you believe that? What do you think of that? Smell that. What kind of food do you think this is?
Good food.
And where would you think it's from?
Our house.
And what kind of cuisine is this? Is it French, Italian, Japanese?
Japanese. Chinese.
You got it! Well listen, thank you for joining Fire Up The Pantry. If you like, subscribe. We'd love to hear more from you. And do you have a dish that you'd love to make at home? Maybe you got some cans, maybe you got some frozen food. Click on the comment and I'll make it for you.